I'm joined now by Senator Deb Fisher. She is one of the ranking members of the Armed Services Committee. She's up for re-election in Nebraska. She's handily ahead, but she's going to run through this tape. Good morning, Senator Fisher. How are you?
I'm doing well, Hugh. How are you?
Good. Now, Democrats are leading in that one congressional district, but how do you feel about the state as a whole?
Oh, President Trump's going to win the state of Nebraska. We do not have winner take all here in Nebraska with our electoral votes. And Vice President Harris, she's put over $20 million into the Omaha area trying to pick up that one electoral vote. And she most likely will win it. But Nebraskans are, as a whole, are very supportive of President Trump.
That big buy by her has, of course, increased Democratic turnout, which for about a half a minute made people worry about you. But I know you're on armed services, and I know the people in Nebraska are smart. I want to ask you about substance before I go to the campaign. Yesterday's Washington Post had a story, Pentagon runs low on air defense missiles as demand surges. Large number of interceptors used to strike missiles, drones in the Middle East raises concerns about U.S. military readiness in the Pacific. You are one of the voices for a strong national defense, Senator Fisher. What do we do about this?
You know, that's something that I've been talking about for over 2 years, and it started with Ukraine, to make sure that we have the munitions we need and that we have the capabilities of producing those munitions that we need and updating them as well. So I have really been probably at every single hearing very forceful with people from the Department of Defense that are there, asking them about that to make sure we have what we need. And again, we have to have the production capabilities continue into the future. Our first responsibility is to keep our homeland safe. And I also believe that America has to be strong and be a leader in the world so the world remains safe too. But yeah, we're watching that very closely.
So, Senator Fisher, armed services matters to me. National security matters to me. I'm not sure voters tune in much to that. When you go out and around Nebraska and you travel the state relentlessly, do those folks know about your armed services work? Are they more concerned with agriculture and wheat prices and the fact that Big Red almost knocked off the Ohio State University on Saturday?
You know, Nebraskans are very aware of the importance of our defense. We have STRATCOM here in Nebraska, and we also have ICBM missile fields in the western part of the state. Both of those are obviously the bedrock of the security of this country and also for our allies. And I talk about that. Even during a campaign, I spend the first several minutes talking about my work on armed services, my work on appropriations committee, and making sure that our military men and women have the resources they need to complete the missions that they're given. And Nebraskans are aware of that. They are very supportive of that. We are a patriotic state. We understand the importance of a strong national security.
You've got a lot of dark money coming in Nebraska. My home state of Ohio is flooded with dark money. They're trying to impose issue 1 in Ohio, and I urge everyone to vote no on issue 1. But what does the dark money mean for your race, and how do people help you out? What's the website for Deb Fisher's reelect?
Well, our website is debfornebraska.com, DEBFOR Nebraska.com. We have been hit in the last 2.5 months with over $20 million in attack ads. Just last night, we saw a message that was being sent out by my opponent as a fundraising message saying that he would caucus with Democrats, just like Bernie Sanders. So although he's running as an independent, he has shown his true colors here, which we have known all along, that's who he was. And so I do not want to see the Democrats remain in the majority in the United States Senate. We need to have a Republican majority in the Senate. Nebraska's ground zero. We are doing well in our campaign. We are hitting as hard, but it is hard to fight $20 million. So any help folks could give us would be much appreciated here as we close this out.
You know, the left has been struggling to find anyone. They tried Ted Cruz, they tried Rick Scott, now they're trying you with this fraudulent campaign. And I say a fraudulent campaign, he's just a left-wing Democrat, but he's running as an eye Do you find that the average Nebraskan knows that now, Senator Fisher?
Nebraskans are figuring it out, Hugh, but we are a nonpartisan unicameral here in the state. So there is that attraction to the idea of an independent. But this is a guy who will say whatever he thinks his audience wants to hear. So he is right now cozying up to Donald Trump, just like we see with Tammy Baldwin and Sherrod Brown and Bob Casey. My opponent is now saying he is the most conservative person running in this race, which we know is a joke because in his own words, he has supported amnesty for illegals. He has supported illegal immigrants being given, in his word, a damn Social Security card so they can collect benefits. He received an F rating from the NRA, and he supports abortion on demand. He will say he's pro-life, but then in the next sentence he says that he would codify Roe. So he is saying a variety of things, trying to get the vote, trying to get Trump supporters to buy into this independent candidacy that he's promoting. But we see his true colors. And last night, with that text message that they're sending out asking for more money, he made it clear that he will caucus with Democrats.
Yeah, in the end, the shades come down and we get to see clearly into a candidate. I want to play for you President Biden last night, Senator Fisher, because I want to know what Nebraskans think about what the president said last night. Cut 21, please.
The only garbage I see floating out there is his supporters.
The only garbage I see floating out there are Trump supporters. Senator Fisher, does that work in Nebraska?
You know, Hugh, this is the same party that calls us deplorable. They call us racist. They call us fascist. They compare President Trump to Hitler. My opponent, Dan Osborne, has called my supporters Hitler Youth. They disrespect voters.
Wow.
They disrespect voters. But I think in the end, we will see Nebraskans. We're going to see Americans. They're going to ignore all that because we have been shown the people who use that language. We know who they are. They're showing their true selves. And we're going to vote for Donald Trump. We are going to have Nebraskans vote for me. They're going to vote for Republicans. They're going to vote for Republicans because they know we're going to make life safer. We're going to make life more affordable. That's who we are as Republicans. Nebraskans understand that, and Americans do too.
So I want to ask my audience to go to deb4nebraska.com. Help out our incumbent senator. She's on armed services. She knows what she's doing on defense. She will help the build up. Trump did it once before. The cupboard was bare. He filled it with the help of people like Deb Fisher. She's got to be reelected. Deb4nebraska.com. Senator Fisher, thank you. Talk to you again, I hope.
Thank you, Hugh. Always good to visit with you. Thanks.
You're welcome.